Hey family, this is Food by Faith Garden to Table and welcome to my backyard. So today I'm going to do a quick video with you guys showing you some seeds that I will be sowing to get ready for fall. If you looked at the New Orleans gardener just recently, she did her 20, and what she did was she did 20 items that she was going to go ahead and get started for the fall in her zone 9 garden. Well, here in Georgia, zone 8A, I have some stuff that is kind of pittering out, so I'll have some space. But by the time these items are ready, I will also have space in my green stock, and I am really considering purchasing a second green stock because I would love to have one strictly for strawberries. Because my wild strawberries, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pull those out of the 100-gallon grow bag, kind of organize my garden a little bit, because as you guys know, my garden is my backyard grocery store, and who wants to go into a nasty grocery store? So I work very hard at keeping my garden clean and keeping my backyard clean, keeping my chicken area clean. I work very hard at doing all of that. So I also like keeping everything organized. So this year I'm going to actually start in these little clear cups. So usually I start my seeds in my arrow garden, but because I'm going to be kind of dipping in and out of town, I do not want my arrow garden has two different alarms. One tells you that it's running out of water, and then the other one tells you that it needs food. I don't want to have to ask anybody to do those things for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cups, and that'll be a little bit easier. If I have someone come over to check on my chickens for me, then all they have to do is spray the cups, call it a day. But what we are going to sow today is going to be premium late flat Dutch cabbage, our 1,000-head kale. And I know that Broke Farmer said he did not like 1,000-head kale, but I do not eat it raw. That is not a kale that's meant to be eaten raw to me. I believe that the curly kales are meant to be eaten in your salad, but the 1,000-head kale is meant to be cooked. And I cook it just like I would my collard greens, with either a ham shank, a ham hock, neck bones, turkey neck, something like that. I'm also going to sow some collard seeds that I got from Mr. Jones, and then some more pink eye peas. So these are the pink eye peas that I sowed in my arrow garden, not my arrow garden, scratch that, in my green stock. And so I've been picking them, letting them dry out, and then I have a mason jar that I'm putting them in. But I want to sow some more of those. I actually have those, and I believe butter peas sown in my Three Sisters garden bed. That garden bed is doing pretty good. The corn is not doing so well, but that's fine. The pumpkins are growing very well. The plants, that is, as well as I did 2 rows of peas. And then I also put some sunflowers in there just in case the corn mind blank, just in case the corn didn't do so well. So guys, what I have here is seed starting mix, and you guys know that seed starting mix has a pretty good amount of peat moss in it, and so you really need to pre-moisten, because if you do not, it will take you forever to try to get it wet. So all I'm going to do is you guys have seen me sow seeds before. I'm going to fill up my cups with my seed starting mix. I already have my cups labeled. I'm sitting here listening to Micro Farmer and sifting some soil, and he had, I think, She is Sunshine on there and a few other people earlier. But I'm just kind of sitting out here. It's really warm outside, but I have my fan on, kind of getting some garden work done. I had to trim back my sweet potatoes because y'all know how sweet potatoes are. They got that takeover spirit. So I had to clip them back because I really didn't want them rooting everywhere. I did take off some slips the other day, placed them in water, and I took them over to Augusta Tech and took them to the horticultural department. So if someone wanted to plant sweet potatoes, because we don't get our first frost until November, we have August, September, and October, and then November. So that gives them about 3.5 months, and they can still actually get some sweet potatoes if they plant them by the end of this month. And those slips will root by the end of this month. So that's not a big deal. So some I've given to the chickens, and some I put in super juice, and then some I've given away. And one of the things that I have realized this gardening season, y'all, I've been giving away a lot of food. And it's not a big deal to me, but at one point I was fussing at myself because I was like, girl, you're supposed to be selling that, and instead you're giving it away. But the blessed part about it is I haven't missed a beat. You know, God is steady blessing me and my family, and you know, the people that he has had me give the different onions, the peppers, even pulling pears off the tree at Macedonia Church of Augusta. I've taken those items and given those items away. It has been such a blessing. And the people who receive them, you know, they are blessed by it. Because what you have to realize is when you are working out in your garden, that is your time. That is, you know, like if you ever watch the Humble Servants Homestead, he always says, where some people go off to their 9 to 5, this is my 9 to 5. And that's what my garden is. My garden is my 9 to 5. I do other things. I volunteer. I help out in so many different other areas. I don't really boast about it because it's that's my thing. You know, that's between me and God. But you know, my garden is my job. That's what I do for a living. You know, I put my time in there, and my time is worth money. And so to be able to bless someone with the works of my hands that God has blessed me with, you know, I make sure I'm giving to the right people. Because a lot of times people can be very unappreciative. Like I've had people, I've given them things and they've gotten rid of them, or they've let them go bad, you know, because they didn't really want them. They took them just to be taking them. So you really have to be mindful of that. No, you do not have control over what people do, but you have control over what you do. And, you know, you have control over who you're giving to unless God says something different. So just be mindful of that, you know, just like you wouldn't take your money and just throw it away, you know, ride down the street with your hand out the window with your money flying out the window. Don't do that with the works of your hands, you know, because this is a talent that God blessed you with. You know, God gave us all a talent, and this is mine. He didn't give me the talent to sing. He didn't give me the talent to play music. And baby, I don't even try. Listen, have y'all ever heard me sing? Listen, don't do that. Cause I be all right, y'all. I be all right. Nah, I'm lying. I sound bad. So I said all that to say this: work in your gifting. And if your gifting is being a gardener, like people smile sometimes when I say that's what I do, and they're like, just like people would, you know, judge me when I would say that I'm a very good cook. You know, they would look at my size, and I have to explain to people once I got the courage, because in my 20s I would just quit, and there was, still is, a pastor, Reverend Eric Grant. He told me one time, he said, don't ever let anybody remove you from the gifting that God has given you. And it was because I would, you know, people would make comments about me cooking because they thought that I was, you know, how could she be this young and this slim or this skinny and know how to cook? But once I got of age, baby, I had to let people know I'm a good cook. That's different from being a good eater. A lot of people, They eat well, but they don't know how to cook nothing. So you just have to be mindful of that. Just because somebody in the kitchen and they fat, that don't mean they know how to cook. That just mean they know how to eat. So just be mindful of that, guys. Never let anybody push you from where God is leading you. Never let anybody down talk you. And you know, sometimes you can't stop them from doing it, but you don't have to accept it. I've told plenty of people plenty of times before, you know, I don't accept what you're saying to me. That might be your view, that might be your opinion, but I don't have to accept it. And as well as that, I don't have to be your friend any longer. Because you will find that sometimes, just like in husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend relationships, people focus on that time. I don't care how much time we've been so-called friends or sisters or what have you, you know, if you downplaying me, down talking me, or talking to me out the side of your head, it's over. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be that easy, but it takes time. But those are so pretty. But you still have to do it. You still have to say, okay, enough's enough, and move on. Walk in your gifting, not in no one else's. Make sure you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Make sure you're living the life that you're supposed to live. Nowadays, we see that people truly, truly believe that anything goes. Guys, I wouldn't do that. That wouldn't be the motto that I live by. Because when you don't stand for anything, you will fall for anything. So you just have to be very, 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 very mindful. Be mindful of the company you keep. I'm not saying walk around with that foolish saying, oh, I don't have no friends, I just got a bunch of associates. Well, I'm an introvert, and it is very hard for me to make friends. So when I do, you know, I'm all in. You know, seriously, if anybody has ever been friends with me, they know that I'm all in. And it takes a lot for me to stop talking to someone or stop being friendly with someone. They have really had to have, you know, hurt me down to my heart. And when that happens, I do. You know, I move on. And because it is so hard for me to make those friends, I'm not going to give my love, my time, my attention, my presence. I'm not going to give that so easily. So I say that to you. Be mindful of the company that you keep. Make friends. Be happy. You know, have a great time. Go places with your peeps. You know, do that. But be mindful of the things that you're doing. Be mindful of the example that you're setting in the things that you're doing. All right, garden family, we have done it. We have sown 3 pink eye pea cups. So the pink eye peas are just like the purple hull peas. We've sown 3 of those with 2 seeds in each. We've sown 3,000 head kale. We have sown 2 cups of flat Dutch cabbage and 2 cups of collards. So that is enough for me and my family. And when I say my family, I also make sure I have enough for my sisters and for my mom. So this will be my first sowing. And then probably next month, I'll give this 2 weeks. And then in 2 more weeks, I'll drop some more seeds. And that way I have a rolling harvest. And you guys can also do the same. Same thing with my green stalk. So at the bottom of my green stalk, I have peas, the pink eyed peas. The next layer, I have the Jack B. Little pumpkins. The next layer, I have flowers and herbs. I have tomatoes, more flowers and herbs, and then flowers and herbs. So when the flowers, the herbs, and the tomatoes going towards the top begin to peter out, Then I'll begin to, because I have actually, Greenstock has some trellis that you can attach to your Greenstock. I have 3 of them, and I have 2 already on it. So whenever microphone is so funny, but I'll go ahead and I'm gonna put that 3rd trellis on the Greenstock. I'm gonna attach it on it. It attaches very, very easily once those flowers as well as those tomatoes peter out. I'll leave the herbs in there. The herbs should be good until the first frost, but the tomatoes and everything, those blue cream tomatoes, I'm actually going to make salsa out of those. I was blessed to get some big slicer tomatoes from my sister, one of the clients at her doctor's office gardens out in Gibson, Georgia, and they blessed me with some tomatoes because my big red tomatoes, they just didn't do well. I have planted another round of tomatoes just to see what will happen, but that's, guys, that's how it works. You know, my sage didn't do very well this year, so I actually had to buy a plant, but I was able to get a plant from the big box store that had 4 plants in it, and they are doing amazing. But growing from seed this year did not work out. My basil from seed did absolutely amazing this year, and it is still out there growing and going. The mint, I purchased some mint, and then of course I had a bunch of mint come back from last year, but I wanted some different varieties, so I purchased that as well as some lemon thyme. But y'all, I got a lot growing on out here, and it just makes me happy. And I will tell you this before we get off: as always, get up, get out, and grow something. Grow in love, grow in peace, grow in your garden, grow in happiness, and just remember, Food by Faith loves you. See you the next time.